It's still pretty incredible that Mario Maker is a game that exists at all. With how many Mario ROM hacks that are out there, it's insane that a game for this very thing was made by Nintendo. And now there's 2 of them.
This is getting out of hand.
I mean, technically 3, but no one really cares about the 3DS version. You'd be forgiven for skipping the first Mario Maker, mainly because it was on Wii U. But at launch, the first game was pretty bare bones. It didn't even have checkpoints. I was never really into the first Mario Maker. The game was a little too bare bones, and the levels were pretty boring for when I played. Mario Maker was an amazing idea, but I felt that it needed a little more content for it to be something truly special. It did get more content over time, but by then I was kinda over it. And just to rub salt in the wound, my levels kept getting deleted due to a lack of activity on them. Yeah, thanks guys. That really just put a sour taste in my mouth about this game. We all know the Switch is going to get some kind of equivalent to this game, but it was hard to tell if we were going to get a deluxe version or a full sequel, although we know how that turned out now. Due to not really caring about the first game, I was only mildly interested in Mario Maker 2. I was still going to buy it, but I had so little hype for this game that I didn't even play it when it came in the mail. Or maybe Phoenix Wright is just that good, but whatever. I wasn't planning on playing this one much, let alone make a video about it, but sometimes it's nice to be surprised. Super Mario Maker 2 is basically just the first game, but better. Although if you bought the original physically, it came with this really cool idea book, which the second game lacks, but the game itself is a total improvement. Pretty much everything from the first game is here and then some. Sure, some stuff is gone, like amiibo costumes and overlapping pipes, but it really isn't that big of a deal. Although being able to play a Sonic in a Mario game was pretty surreal. Now, I'm not gonna go into detail about every little thing about this game, but the difference between this game and its predecessor is pretty insane. Like, they added slopes, man. Game of the century. You've not only got basics like Goombas and power-ups, but you've also got more complicated stuff like warp doors and snake blocks, and even brand new stuff like swinging claws and on-off switches. Okay, seriously, switches alone put up so many more possibilities with this level editor. You've got 5 game styles to pick from, with Mario having the same abilities that he had in that game. Like, you can wall jump in Mario Bros. U and 3D World, but you can't in Mario Bros. 1. Or you can grab items in Mario Bros. 3, but not Mario Bros. 1. Now, it's pretty obvious why Mario 1 is my least favorite game style now that I'm saying it out loud. The controls and physics are the same throughout, but the abilities and certain power-ups are what change between styles. They even made new assets when needed. Like, there's Thwomps, Wigglers, and Boos in Mario 1, dude. The angry sun in Mario U doesn't look very angry, though. This dude looks like he just found your search history. Just in case. There was even 8 level themes to change up the aesthetics, along with a new night mode for each theme that has a new hazard like poison instead of water, low gravity, or even flipping the screen upside down. Although if you want to make a level in the new 3D World style, you're gonna have to delete whatever you've made so far. Kinda sucks on paper, but there's so many unique parts in the 3D World style that I didn't really mind it in practice. Although it's still missing some basic stuff like night themes, stackable enemies, and on-off blocks. You have the switches, but the blocks themselves like these own in 3D World, which is really dumb. But if they're ditching complete compatibility for each game, can we get a Mario 2 USA style? That'd be pretty dope. And if we can get 2D versions of 3D games, I'd like a 2D Mario Galaxy style. Mainly because any of the other 3D games would feel weird in 2D, and Galaxy even has 2D sections. I have to hand it to the graphics department though. Every style looks crisp and vibrant while still looking like his original game. Like, wow, this looks even better than emulation. Everything just looks like a total improvement over the source material. Except Mario Bros. U, like, oh my god. The player models look fine, but all the animation looks really choppy, especially compared to the original game. I think that the original Mario Maker used sprites in place of 3D models, and if that's still the case, it's all the more obvious this time around. They have new music for just about every game too. They all sound nice, and sound like something that would come out of the original game. But my favorite aspect of this editor is that it still feels like you're playing a game. I don't know how to describe it, it just made the act of making levels fun. I suppose the fun factor comes from the presentation. The sound design just feels good. From the calming building music to the cursor saying when just put down in this robotic voice, building levels just feels satisfying. It's fun to just mess around with level ideas too. Maybe you don't know where you're going with this, but you decided to make a level around some random mechanic you discovered while throwing ideas at the wall, or even something you found when playing someone else's level. Like, that's damn cool. By playing other people's levels, you get better ideas for your own and vice versa. Mario Maker even has a brilliant way to balance the difficulty of user-made levels. You not only have to beat it from each checkpoint to prove that it doesn't soft-lock you or something, but you have to beat any level you make without dying before you can upload it. I think they did the not dying part to try and discourage people from making impossibly hard levels, but that didn't seem to stop them. Jesus Christ, Dan Salvato. Stop scaring me with ball-busting level design and go back to scaring me with whatever the hell Doki Doki Literature Club was supposed to be. Although for as good as the editor is, it's still got a few kinks to iron out. My main issue is is being forced to use the touchscreen in handheld mode. The option's totally fine, but there's no reason why you can't use buttons when the programming is already there. They need to do this with Smash's Stage Builder too. Like, it's probably fine with a stylus, but if you don't have one on you, using your finger is just clunky and weird. Building levels on the go is awesome, but without buttons or a stylus, I'd rather not bother in handheld mode. The button controls could use some work too. They're totally fine when you get used to them, but I mainly want the right stick to move the camera around at all times. Moving around the level is just slow and tedious without it. And if you could make the cursor on screen all the time, that'd be great. Ideally, left stick controls the cursor, right stick controls the camera, and D-pad controls the menus. It's fine in its current state, but that little extra polish would make it all the better. With a game like this, it's all about the user-made levels, and Mario Maker 2 delivers that in spades. My biggest issue with the first game is how hard it was to find legitimately good levels. There were too many of those don't move levels. They were cool at first, but there were so many of them that they got annoying quick. Almost like a meme that you don't get. Like, who is this guy? They really reminded me of bomb survivals from Little Big Planet, except not as bad. But in the second game, I'm honestly shocked by how many good levels have been made already. And I hope that I don't miscredit any levels in this video. If you see any mistakes, please let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to make any corrections in the video description below. Why does no one ever read those things? 2D versions of 3D levels? Naturally. Crazy ass uses of those new switch blocks? Heck yeah, dude. Freaking pinball? Yeah, sure. We got some funky fresh meme levels too. Wii U number 1? Impressive, actually. Steamed hams, but it's 3D world. I kinda love this. This video is not gonna age well. Someone even made a gourmet race rhythm level. Mario joins the Ormeo. That was kinda weird, but fun anyway. Oh, and there's a second mode called Mario returns from the Ormeo, and he has PTSD and he's trapped in his war memories. Oh my god, that's amazing. There was just as many impossibly hard levels, but you can at least ignore them this time if you don't play endless on higher difficulties. Oh, and they have Miiver's post with color now. This is a tool for evil. The 100 Mario challenge has been replaced with an endless mode, which is basically the same thing except you have less lives. The difficulty finds levels with specific clear rates, which determines how hard it is. Although playing endless on easy gives you some really weird levels sometimes. Like this one that just has a bunch of bomb-bombs on top of each other, or pipe. Yep, that's all this is. I'm sure kids made some of these levels, but I don't know, I just can't help but laugh when I see stuff like this. Not to demean the creators of these levels, it's just my own weird sense of humor, I guess. And of course, endless on Super Expert is basically impossible. If you're one of those guys, I guess, who kicks off of speedrunning Kaizo Mario World, you're a braver soul than I. They even added a multiplayer mode, and it's terrible. I'm honestly amazed that anyone at Nintendo thought this was a good idea. It's cool on paper, but in practice, you quickly realize that people don't make levels with multiplayer in mind. Even in co-op, it feels like your partner's just getting in your way more than anything else. Oh, and that latency. Even when the multiplayer isn't a PowerPoint presentation, it's more frustrating than fun. I'm glad that they're listening to feedback and are adding the ability to play with friends in a patch, but honestly, I don't think anyone cares anymore. They did add a brand new story mode, which isn't actually new because the 3DS version had one, but it's still appreciated nonetheless. Once these servers eventually go down, there's still a game to play here. Everyone just finished rebuilding the castle and the undo dog destroys the whole thing. Bad boy, bad boy. Who am I kidding? He's still a good doggy. So now everyone's gotta rebuild the castle. Again. How do you do that? By playing levels to earn coins. It was around 100 levels here, so it's a full-length 2D Mario game, but it just doesn't feel right. From the levels being in a mission list instead of a world map, to the levels lacking any kind of cohesion or relevance to each other, it just doesn't feel like a real Mario game. It honestly feels like more of a fan game at times. There's no secrets to find, no collectibles, just levels. While there are some really good levels in here, there isn't much reason to play it when you can just play user-made levels and get basically the same experience. You won't like the Mario Land-inspired Super Ball Flower and 3D World Super Hammer as you progress through story mode, but otherwise there's no reason to play it if you have no interest in creating levels yourself. I hope you like me costumes, because that's the majority of what you'll be getting from this. There was some quality levels here, but there was too many annoying and tedious ones for it to be worth finishing, let alone replaying. If I have to play another Don't Jump level, I'm
I'm going to scream.
The issue isn't that you can't jump, it's that you can't fall either. So you end up losing a lot just because you decided to walk off a ledge accidentally. 95% of the time, I lost these not because I jumped, but because I fell instead, and that's beyond stupid. And there was this one level with a bunch of water and Magic Koopas, and apparently Magic Koopas can turn the flagpole into a Goomba. This only happened to me once, so it had to be an oversight, but what the hell, that's so unfair.
I'm sorry, I can't accept this paper. Why not? I worked so hard on it. Well, you turned in a Goomba. I can explain.
The weird thing about story mode is that there's some mechanics that are exclusive to it, like these toads that you have to bring to the end of the level. It's not a huge deal, but the way they stare into your soul when you stand still is absolutely terrifying. There's also this stone that you have to carry to the end that severely hinders your movement while carrying it. These mechanics are fine, but why the hell are they limited to story mode? They're already in the game, so what's the harm in letting us use them ourselves? I want someone to make a whole level based around these toads, damn it. But overall, the story mode just kind of exists. It's got its moments, but if you're not into making levels, you have zero reason to play it. It's likely you've already got a Switch Online membership if you're playing this game, so I'd recommend playing the NES Mario games instead of story mode. Go back to the user-made levels. If I wasn't making a review of this game, I wouldn't have finished the story mode. I had to zone out way too much to get through this thing. I had a few small issues with the game though. There was the aforementioned flag being turned into a Goomba, but I really don't like how awkward long jumping is in 3D World. I don't know how to describe it. I don't even have to think about it in other games, but here I have to tell myself to press ZR before pressing A so I don't do a regular jump. I don't know what's so weird about it, it just doesn't work as well as it should. And this game could really use a developers pick section. In Little Big Planet, there was a section where you could play levels that were picked by the developers themselves, so you know it's good. Mario Maker could really use something like that to help find better levels. I found good levels much more easily this time around, but something like this would really help. Despite a pretty forgettable story mode, I was honestly surprised by how much I enjoy Super Mario Maker 2. I'm still kinda weirded out by how little I cared about the first game, considering the ungodly amount of time I played Little Big Planet 2 as a kid. Seriously, Mario Maker is a dream come true to my 12-year-old self. While there's still more stuff that can be added to Mario Maker, the game feels like a fully featured level editor this time around. After playing it, I wasn't left wanting more, I was left wanting to play more. Sure, some of the charm of the original is gone, but it's such a minor thing and it couldn't possibly detract from what we do have. We have a Mario game where you can come back every day and have new levels to play, and that's incredible. What's even more incredible is that making levels are just as much fun as playing them, encouraging more people to make levels for everyone to play. I mean, sure, not all of them get a ton of plays, which is just the nature of this kind of thing, and you know what, this is almost starting to sound like some kind of economy analogy.
Is Mario Maker a metaphor for capitalism? Why am I giving game theory ideas?
Well, with that, the Wii U is officially dead, other than a few more ports that haven't happened yet. It's honestly kinda sad how this poor thing doesn't have anything going for it anymore, other than homebrew. And even then, Switch seems to be outdoing it in that department too, if you don't mind an online ban. The Wii U was a good console, I swear. This has been Flame Guy, and may the Wii U rest in peace. Take care, and I'll see you all next mission.